Oh, because it's up here. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah. Okay. Got me in the invite. I'm sorry.
You can edit that out.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. And ask you, Chief Nunn, to lead us, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Everybody can stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and welcome, everyone. Rebecca, would you mind taking roll call, please?
Sandy Smith,
Present.
Scott Dorman,
Here.
Jeff Robbins, John Smith,
Here.
and Ryan Leahy.
Present.
All right, turning now to item 4 on the agenda, which is the approval of the agenda. Have all of you had an opportunity to take a look at the agenda for today's meeting?
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions, comments, concerns, changes to the agenda? All right, may I have a motion, please, to approve the agenda for today's meeting?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda for today's meeting as presented.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. I should also note for the record that board member Jeff Robbins is not present. He is out for, he cannot attend for personal reasons that are significant. So, but if we have a very important issue, we can call him and ask him to just cast a deciding vote if there's a tie as between the 4 of us, which would shock me. All right, I'm gonna, public comment. Does anybody have? Anybody in the public or on Zoom? Any public comment? Okay. All right, moving now to item 6 on the agenda, approval of the minutes. We have several minutes that were in your board packet. They were from June 22nd, June 29th, and July 14th. Have all of you had an opportunity to review the minutes from those meetings?
Yes.
Does anyone have any changes or concerns about the minutes from those 3 meetings? All right, may I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes from the June 22nd, June 29th, and July 14th, 2026 board meetings?
Approved meetings for the June 22nd, 29th, and July 14th.
May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried. All right, turning now to the public hearings and item of business, we'll start with the election update. Is Ashley?
She is, I'm adding her. Okay, she's on,
Can we get her on the screen?
yeah. There she is.
Hi, Ashley.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
We're good. We're just now to item 7A on our agenda, which is the election update, and the 2 items there are under your tutelage, if you will. So if you could advise the board concerning the resolution calling for a November 3rd, 2026 special election and appointing a designated election official. Thereby I mean advice, not legal advice, but just for the board and the public what we're looking at here.
Yeah, and sorry, Sandy, I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you.
Yeah, everybody does. Sorry.
That's okay.
A small Roman numeral 1.
Yeah, for some reason, I still couldn't hear you.
Okay, you just stay there. I'll ask a question if I've got a question.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
All of you had an opportunity to take a look at the resolution that was in your board book. It was a resolution calling for a November 3rd, 2026 special election and appointing a designated election official. Is that a yes? You all looked at it?
Yes.
Did anybody have any questions, concerns about this? Any questions for Ashley, who drafted it on behalf of the district?
I'm assuming that the amount, percentage for the sales tax we're looking for will be in the ballot language, doesn't have to be in the resolution.
Correct. Yep, this isn't the final resolution accepting the ballot language. This is just the first step.
Can't believe you heard him and didn't hear me, and I'm talking into the microphone.
I know. I'm sorry, Sandy. For some reason, like I kept missing like every other word, but that was clearer. I'm sorry.
Was your question answered though?
Yes, it was.
Does anybody else have a question concerning the resolution? Or do we have any further discussion about the resolution before we entertain and adopt the resolution? All right, I will entertain then a motion to adopt resolution numbers. Can somebody bring it to me?
It's 2026-07.
All right, resolution 2026-07, special election. I just need it. I need to read the whole title and go through. Sorry. I didn't print all 190 pages of my board. Yeah. No, that doesn't have it on it either. Where's the actual resolution? Can you put it up there? Okay. It doesn't have the date.
It wasn't on. It wasn't when we got it on Friday evening.
All right, so I then, Ashley.
Yeah.
I would like to make a change to this. The resolution has to have 2026-07 in the title.
Okay.
It's subject to does anyone on the board have a problem with that change? So I'm going to call for a motion with the title as amended. I'm gonna ask Miranda and Rebecca to please put it back up on the screen for me. Sorry to be so picky, but these things have to be done very carefully. All right, so this would be a motion to adopt resolution 2026-07, a resolution calling for a November 3, 2026 special election and appointing a designated election official. May I have that motion, please? May I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried and the resolution is adopted. Thank you both for helping me with that. All right, we'll turn now to item 7B, financial matters, and it was Mr. Dazio here.
Oh, I think we have 7A number 2. The HB.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right, 100%. I don't know why I jumped the gun and just knocked it right off of my list here. All right, turning next to HB 24B-101, the property tax revenue growth limit. Ashley, can you speak to that, please?
Yes. So it was fairly recently that there is legislation essentially saying that districts cannot collect over 5.25% of their property tax revenue unless you get a voter approved waiver of that cap. So it's pretty similar to there's a Tabor component, and then it's similar to when you debruce, there was a 5.5% property tax cap. Your district has already debruced a long time ago. I'm suggesting that you guys also, we're dubbing this depolis, and put a question before the voters to waive that 5.25 property tax cap limit. There is very standard language that you put onto the ballot. It's very statute driven, so we don't have a lot of discretion like we do in the sales tax ballot question to work with it. But it is something you should consider because we are already going to likely be on the ballot in November to include this ballot question as well.
Excuse me. So I have a concern about having two issues on the agenda, only one of which we've conducted a survey for. You know, excuse me, I don't want negativity around one. If there is negativity, I'm not suggesting there is, to affect the positivity on the other. I mean, to what extent do you think that could be a potential issue?
So there's always the risk that having two ballot issues can potentially dilute, the voters' interest in one of, one or the other. I think Steve and I talked about putting, the sales tax ballot issue first on the ballot itself, and then the waiver, the depolicing issue would be second. There is specific language we can put in this question that says it's not something that increases anybody's taxes. It just eliminates the cap that the district
Yeah, I
has.
think it's paired with one that does increase tax, right? And so it does look to me, it looks to a voter potentially that we're not just asking for the one thing, we're asking for, now we're taking advantage, we want to ask for this other thing too.
Right.
I mean, that's just my concern.
Yeah,
You
there's,
know.
I mean, there's definitely, I would say there's considerations that like that two questions on the ballot isn't, could potentially be problematic, but there are many districts that we have as well that are doing both. So, this doesn't have to be decided today. This is just something that, I did want to bring to your guys' attention, for consideration. We can consider this at the next meeting. But, just wanted to raise this issue, and I'm happy to talk to anybody more about what this means and, pros and cons and stuff like that.
So the cap is 5%, but aren't we only at, what, 3% or something smaller?
So it's a 5.25% cap on the money that you get in. So the mills it's a little bit of a different calculation there. Because I think you're at a little south of 3 mills, if I'm remembering correctly.
I would like to have more information about this before I would do any vote on it. I
Yeah,
don't really know that much about it, but I need more. I agree.
yeah,
Absolutely.
I think right now we're sticking with what we got, and I think we can talk about it, maybe we can have a working session, or we can have a legal advice session, an executive session where you can give us the legal issue, advice issues that we might need to be able to consider that we're not able to consider in a public meeting. That's fine,
Yep.
but yeah, just some questions I think certainly I'm gonna have about it and others as well.
I'm happy to give you guys I can send the board kind of the legal, my initial legal thoughts here, and then we can proceed however you guys would like to. But that way, I was just trying to think of everything we had going on right now and trying to make it as cost effective as possible too.
Yeah, I understand that. We may end up shooting ourselves in the foot in an attempt to be cost effective.
Totally. Yep.
Let's table it for another meeting, perhaps a work session and an executive session. All right, turning now to item 7B, 2025 audit report. Is Mr. Dazio present? Mr. Dazio, you are up to talk about our audit.
Okay. Go from here. And now see things on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, well, good afternoon, everybody. Good to see all of you again. Going to start out by saying this will be my last year doing the audit for you. I've been doing it for a long time, and I'm starting to kind of pare down my practice. Not getting ready for retirement, but seeing it in the window. So it's been a pleasure working with all of you through the years. I know former Chief Dorman, you were chief when I was doing this.
Yep.
I know Chief Landcamer has been here a long time, that I know him for years, and some of the other folks. So it has been a pleasure, I gotta say. Thank you. Perfect. Perfect page. Okay. I'll start out with the auditor's opinion. If you're following along on your iPads, whatever you got, it's PDF page 21 of the packet. So the important paragraph there is the second one, where it says, in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly all material specs. So it's a clean opinion on the financial statements that follow, or a unqualified opinion. Okay, so that's the good news. And then we're going to skip through. There's a lot of other language in here that frankly, no one reads. Really don't. So we're going to skip forward quite a few pages. One more. Okay. The financial highlights, I'm just going to go through a couple of these right now. Look a little bit. The second bullet there, general fund report, any fund balance of almost $2 million, increase of $413,000. So a positive year. Total net position. When we talk about total net position and the statement of net position and statement activities that we're going to see pretty soon, I'm going to steer you away from a lot of that. Okay. That's required disclosure by the folks that makes us do this stuff, but it doesn't make a lot of sense on your day-to-day business. Okay, so I'm going to steer you away from some of that. Sales tax revenue, the bullet second from the bottom there, increased $261,000. That's a good sign on the economy up here. And the fiscal current year unassigned fund balances, so that strips away the restricted stuff. You're at 57% of your total general expenditures, so that's pretty healthy too. You're about a 12-to-1 current ratio on that. And the accountants know what I'm talking about. That Stephen and Ben love that kind of stuff. So we're happy with that. And the last bullet there just mentions one of the bigger things that happened in 2025 was with your affiliation with the FPPA on voluntary departments. So all the fund plans, assets that you were previously managing in your own investment account got transferred to FPPA. They're now investing it as part of their huge pool, and they're paying the benefits out to your to the volunteers, and are tracking all of that now, so you don't have to worry about paying volunteers and that kind of thing. So I think it was a really good thing that FPPA opened that up again. They had opened it up years ago, and they closed it, and they just recently reopened it to allow you to affiliate. So I think it was a good move. Hopefully you guys are happy with how that went. Okay, then we're going to move forward. And the rest of the MD&A, frankly, is kind of boilerplate, and it does focus on those statements that I said we weren't going to talk about, the government-wide stuff. Okay, so we're going to skip through this, and I'm just going to touch on the government-wide just to show you what it looks like. Sorry about this. It's on PDF page 32.
Sorry, switching.
There we go. Okay, so this is governmental accounting reporting is very different than nonprofit or corporate because you have two balance sheets of two different statements. This is the first balance sheet, and what you see here are some of your long-term assets and liabilities that you won't see on your other balance sheet. You've got capital assets, which are the equipment in the building. If you think about it from a personal standpoint, this includes your car and your house, right? It also includes your mortgages or your debts. It also includes all this pension stuff that I think we've talked about before. That's here because of the pension requirements that we have to pick up the proportionate share of the net pension liability or asset of the volunteer plan, parent plan, and the FPPA plan. So all of that's in here. And it confuses the numbers quite a bit. Okay, so keep going up a little bit. We see some of the non-current liabilities here. Compensated absences, you've got a lease obligation for the office space. That's what that is. The great thing about this district is you have no debt. It's amazing for a district of this size to be debt-free. And then going forward down, you have this net position, unrestricted wildfire mitigation fund. Those are the funds left over from the 1A taxes that haven't been spent. And we have the chamber emergencies and capital projects. We're going to talk about that. That's the impact fees that I think you've read in the packet today. We had to make some changes on that to allow for the impact fee fund. So keep going. That's the statement of activities. That's the first income statement. We're going to skip that guy. And here's your other balance sheet. If you notice this, they don't have the capital assets on here. And they don't have any of the long-term liabilities or any of the pension numbers on here. Okay, you're also gonna see a new fund that you didn't see before, and that's the impact fee fund. And this was something we worked with the audit committee as well as the new accounting group at JVG. And back in 2018, the district adopted the resolution to impose impact fees on new development. Okay, so it went through the numbers and essentially the impact fees that were should have been set aside into a separate fund and restricted were just grouped in with the general fund.
That's it.
Here you go. So it's that second call.
Gotcha.
Okay, so we went through and I had, since I've been doing this audit for a while, I had all the numbers going back to 2018 when the thing was adopted. And came up with all the impact fees that the district had collected. And we spoke with Chief Landcamer and the audit committee and JVG and figured out that we could apply some of the costs to it because the impact fees are restricted for district expansion. Okay. So we figured, I think, the end in 21 or 721, 723, sorry, was applicable to that. So that was purchased in 2021. And so we said that the impact fees collected through 2021, those monies could go towards the purchase of engine 723. And so we started in 2021, essentially January 1st, 2022, with $0 balance in that fund. But we kind of think about that. So then we had collections in 22, 23, and 24, and 25. So we didn't have any expenses that we applied to those collections. And that amounted to the $182,000 that you see here. Okay, so going forward, you'll have this fund to better track it and to track the expenses and be in compliance with our resolution from back in 2018. Any questions on that? And I want to thank the audit committee and everyone involved on getting that straightened out because it took a few meetings and a few conversations to get that handled. So, okay, so we end up with unassigned fund balance in the general fund of 1.5 million. And there's the welfare mitigation fund that we've seen before. And the Tabor emergencies were required to set aside 3% of your, when you do the math, it ends up being 3% of your revenues that you have to restrict for a Tabor emergency. And that's from the Tabor amendment back in 1992. And then we have capital projects. We set up the impact fee fund as a capital projects fund. And those monies are restricted, as I said, for district expansion. Okay. Next page. For the accountants in the room and the people who love numbers, this is the reconciliation between the two balance sheets. A lot of numbers in there. We go to the next page. And this is your second income statement that shows the general fund, the impact fee fund. So we do separate the sales tax from the town and the 1A sales taxes. And we see the impact fees, 32,000 was collected in 2025. We have the ballot issue 1A expenses here. So you can see the ins and outs on that. And then down below, we see we had to restate fund balance to create the fund. So we moved to 149,296 for which were the impact fees collected in 22, 23, 24. Okay, so we start out on January 1st, 2025 with that 149,000. Good. Keep going. Next page is going to be reconciling the two income statements. So we can go past that. Okay. And here's your general fund budget to actual. This is the income statement which shows comparison to budget at much greater detail. It's pretty much geared towards the budget. Your line items on the budget match this pretty close. Yeah. I don't know if you got a chance to look through this, if you had any questions on any of this stuff, so just yell. Okay, capital outlay down there. You see the fleet was, mostly, apparatus and outfitting, 723 staff 70. Building and grounds, 102,000, most of that is that office lease. We entered into an office lease for the building, for the office. And we show that, it's a really strange thing, but we show it as lease proceeds of 108.94 and offset with the 102. Okay, the difference is a couple of expenses for building expenses that. So, does that make any sense? It's kind of strange. Okay, keep going. Footnotes now, or no, I'm sorry.
Go back.
This is the statement of fiduciary imposition. This used to be the volunteer pension trust fund. I left it here this year just so zeros.
I have a question about the volunteer pension fund, because on page 13 of the audit, it says the district incurred expenditures in excess of appropriation for the year ended December 31, 2025 in the volunteer pension fund, which may be in violation of the state budget law.
Yeah.
And I need to understand that. When I see those words, I get pretty worked
Gets
up.
a little worked out.
Yeah.
And I'll be doing that. It's one of those things, we could look at that statement, it's way near the end. And it was caused by the affiliation. Let's see. PDF 117. Okay. So the reason why is because of the transfer. You know, the assets to bring the deposition down to zero. So it's an easy explanation of why. Now, when you see that in there, it looks like, goodness. The state auditor is gonna look at that and say, yeah, it went over, they're gonna know why you disclosed it, so you're okay. They're not gonna worry about it, and no one's gonna worry about it. If you go to, you can,
It says
we talked about it and, you know, decided not to do a budget amendment because it really wasn't gonna change anything other than that footnote. If you wanted to do a budget amendment, it would be good.
So perhaps there ought to be a footnote on page 13 that lays that out a little bit more specifically and clearly. Because right now it just says expenditures. It doesn't say the entirety or the reason why or the expenditure was this transfer. Because I looked throughout that thing, couldn't find anything to explain why we're violating the law, and I didn't like it. So I think that right there where you say it's a
Yeah.
violation of law, there needs to be a very detailed explanation for how it's not really a violation of law, that it's a transfer of expenditures and we didn't go spend the money, we just moved it somewhere. Okay, all right.
We can add a paragraph. Okay, let's go back up. Two. Okay, this starts the footnotes. If you haven't read these, it's probably a good read at the beginning. To go through them here. We'll pick out a few things here, page 4, PDF 44. Is where we have the impact fee fund. To disclose that. And we will add something. I mean, we do have, yeah, so the budgets. What Sam's talking about a little further down. Right there. So what I can do. Is add a sentence or something saying it's caused by the affiliation and transfer.
Not really an expenditure, it's a transfer, and so I think that, you know, it is a distinction with a difference in this particular case, so having something that explains that. refers back to the numbers.
Pay the overexpenditure was caused by funds transferred to FPPA.
Yeah.
What, a little bit more?
Where is it say that?
The road, or expenditures are caused by funds transferred.
That's the.
Yeah, I think it does need a little bit more detail than that, because it just didn't make any sense to me. Because you say it's state budget law, it's a violation of law, and here's what caused it, our violation of law. And what we're saying is, okay, we're not saying here's what caused our violation of state law. It's actually, it's not a violation of state law because it wasn't an expenditure, it was a
Well,
transfer.
Technically it is.
Well, that's
We
concerning.
did overexpend. But it's not anything, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, we can add all you
They say
can.
these were not expenditures, these were funds that were actually transferred to FPPA and still exist within FPPA or some words to that effect. That makes it more clear to me.
Maybe work something out and I can send it to you.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
All right. Yeah, let me think about it. I'll see what else,
Okay.
how else to
Thank you.
soften it and soften the language.
Well, or just explain it better, yeah, because I mean, it's just this big red flag right there.
Okay. Okay, let's keep going. The next page, 46. It talks about impact fees. So this is a new section in the notes for impact fees. It explains what we did, where it comes from, what the fees are, that kind of thing. So keep going. The cash. Good. Yeah. Okay, cash deposits, we have 31.3 million, investments of 660,000. And the next, little farther down. Next page, sorry. This is where your investments are in C-Safe, that's a local government investment pool. There are a few of them in the state, Trust being one. Centennial was another. And I looked at it today, this morning actually, and they're all earning right around 3.77. So rates are up and down, but they've been hanging around that much. So that's a place to put the excess cash. And I know we've talked to the audit committee about that. You know, talked to JVG about possibly moving more money into the pool at your discretion. But that's something for you guys to discuss. Possibly get a little bit of return on your investment. Or on your cash. Okay, then the next page. It's into capital assets. Big number, we brought in, which one was it? 726 was brought into service in 2025. So that's part of that 447,000 and staff 71 was brought in. Okay. Really, the only debt is the compensated absences, that's your vacation for PTO. And then the next is the office lease. It shows the lease obligation, the details on it. Yeah. Okay. Fund equity, we talked about fund balance and net position, we've already kind of touched on that. To general fund with the wildfire funds, Tabor, and then the capital expenditures, the impact fee fund. And that position talks about the same kind of idea, so. Keep going. Then we get into the pension disclosures. You can spend the rest of the afternoon on that if you'd like, because it goes from, I have a note here, from page 57 to 92 PDF. So a lot of
I
this.
agree to do it, fine.
Okay, a lot of this is actuarial information. Yeah, so we're gonna skip past all of that. Get to PDF 93. Already there, okay. She's a little low. We talked about the length of service program, LoSAP, intergovernmental agreements with the town and the sales taxes that the town has remitted the last 3 years. And we have the 1A taxes that were remitted. And the last paragraph talks about the expenditures we have with the town dispatch and the other maintenance costs. Yeah. So the next one talks about, I believe the management, that's just a standard disclosure that you're in the pool. The note 15 talks about tax spending and debt limitations. The first part of this is the Tabor amendment that we just talked about. Ashley. And what you was talking about debrucing is on the next page. This is that one on November 3rd, 2009, is what she was mentioning about debrucing. Which the election was essentially authorized to collect, retain, and spend all revenues, so you don't have to do refunds. That kind of thing. You see the state doing that every year, giving refunds. We don't, the district doesn't have to do that in that election. In 2018, they did an election that said you can get out of the Gallagher amendment. I'm not exactly sure how that is effective now with that new thing here. This is what she was talking about, the 5.25% of property taxes. The 29.1702 CRS. And you're limited, as she said, 5.25% increase or 10.5% over a 2-year assessment period. So you could increase 10.5%, but then 0 the next year. But this is, it's kind of like if you were around during Tabor, there were so many things in Tabor that were very confusing. It took years to work out a lot of these things. A lot of them went through the courts on figuring out that amendment. This one isn't quite as complicated, but there are a lot of assumptions that you make when you're making this calculation. I've worked with several different accountants and other auditors, and you can get different answers on that question. With that statute says. There's a lot of interpretation in there. Okay, so we'll leave it at that and see how it, I think over the next year or so, there'll be more guidance. And I was happy to see the attorneys getting involved with it, because they weren't as much involved in 2026 when people were setting their limits. So next. What's this? RSI, required supplemental information. These are a lot of the pension tables, 10-year pension tables. Again, this is a lot of actuarial things. This does talk the volunteer plan, talks about the net pension liability of the volunteer plan. 48,000, you're 78% funded. And we'll see what happens now that FBPA has it. See what that number looks like in the coming year. Then the next one goes through 10-year histories of PARA and FBPA plans. So I think we can skip past all these tables. A lot. And here this is the impact fee budget actual. So we'll need to budget for the impact fee fund in 2027. And if you have any expenses in 2026, we will bend to create the 2026 budget. Since we didn't have a budget for it, because we didn't know we were going to have a fund for it in when we're doing the 26 budget. Okay, then we see the excellent pension fund budget actual, talking about that. And then I think that is about it. There's the last page is just a history of assessed valuation of med levies for the last several years.
Any questions for Mr. Desio? I do want to see a change to that, whether it's to that paragraph or a footnote that's added or whatever. How do you all want to do that? I hate to have him sit, maybe you as the, well, it's you and Jeff. Huh?
It's
Oh, it's you guys, you and Jeff. Okay, I'm sorry. So what we could do is just give you the authority to approve the language he gives you. So we approve the budget today, subject to your approval of the language that he submits to you, relative to this particular change. Would that work for all of you? Yeah, we're approving the audit, but I'm sorry, I misspoke. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I meant audit. So, subject to him submitting a change to the audit that explains better this violation of state budget law. The board would be authorizing you and Jeff as the audit committee. I almost said budget committee, as the audit, there you go. And as the audit committee to approve that language, you would work with Mr. Dazio, and we're just going to trust you to approve that language. So we would approve here tonight the audit, subject to that change that we're authorizing. That works. All right.
Good.
Okay. I have my back. Sorry.
Sorry.
I will try not to say budget when I'm on it. All right, so, subject to, I'm gonna state the motion. All right, and then, somebody can just adopt it as I say it unless you disagree with it. I will entertain a motion to approve the 2025 audit. Subject to a revision to be made concerning the referenced quotation on page 13, which I'm not going to read again into the record, that the audit committee is authorized by the board to approve that language change to the audit. So that's the motion. How's that?
I'll make the motion. So,
Rebecca, did you get that?
Yes, I did.
All right, so Hibby made the motion, seconded by Scott Dorman. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Dazio. Appreciate your help.
thank you very much. Steve, thank you for all the years that you've done audit for us.
Appreciate it
Very good. You should all your involved efforts. Good luck.
I'd love downscaling a little bit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nice.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Steve.
Did you? That's not the word you understand. I could turn now to item 7B, small room renewal 2, the treasurer's report, and I'll turn it over to Ryan for that.
We've read that the bills start on page 122 in the packet. And I have read through these, and I'm part of them through the month. They represent the current standings of the Estes Valley Fire District.
Do we have an accountant on the line that wants to go over the?
We have Stephen ready.
All right, can we have him up, please, and he can just take us through this quickly?
Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, members of the board. Just a couple quick highlights. I see we got the report shared right here on the screen. If you have the financial report as well, I'm looking at page 7, which is the profit and loss for the month. Just a couple things to point out here. I'm gonna go a couple highlights for the month. One of the big things is our property tax revenue was showing by a significant amount behind budget. Property tax revenue for the month was $137,000 under budget, and sales tax was under budget by $55,000 for the month. On a year-to-date perspective, our property taxes were under budget $244,000. So to give a little bit more insight on this for how we budget for this versus the collections of the county, we go off of the 3 previous years of tax collections by percentage. So what you see right there for the 210 and the little over $1 million through the month of June, it's more of an estimated amount, not necessarily a set amount from the county or anybody. We do our best to try to align the collections with the timing, and that's the best measure we have is by percentage of the most three recent years, because we don't get the same set amount every month, every year. It does vary year to year. The good news on this is I already looked for the month of July, what we received for tax revenue, and we were able to we were $184,000 over budget, which is what I would have expected. So that 244 number you're seeing under budget, it goes down to 60,000. I would expect that over budget amount to continue over the next couple months and then kind of even out as we go through time. If there's anything not in line with those expectations that I have, I'll reach out to the county treasurer just to make sure nothing, we're not missing anything, if there is anything the board should be aware of. But to my knowledge, with what I've seen in these for, other districts and doing this so many years, if we're under budget on tax revenue, we usually make up in the following months. As far as sales tax go, we were under budget. I actually looked over this with Rebecca and Chief last week. This is more depending on the foot traffic in the area. I don't know if there's necessarily, I'm talking about sales tax. Sorry, I don't know if I mentioned that, but I don't know if there's necessarily less activity or what was going on last year at this time versus this year. But the last couple of years, we were a little higher for the month of June collections. However, looking at some other statistics, overall, we should be ahead, which is what we're seeing on the year-to-date numbers. So, overall, from January through June, we should be ahead of schedule on our tax revenue, and we do see that for the month, so or for the year to date. So, even though we are under budget by a fairly significant amount, it was almost half of the budget for the month of June. On a year-to-date perspective, we're still looking good. Does anybody have any questions on any of the revenues or what that's looking like right now at the moment?
Any questions? No, no questions.
Okay, thank you. Just one more quick thing on the expenses. Everything looks fine. We're trending under budget for everything, which is what we've been trending for the year. The only thing is our professional services were over budget by $30,000, which our managerial was over budget 33,000, and that's just for our consulting for the sales tax. So that is an expense, to my knowledge, the board is aware of. We were going to come over budget. It's something we have to do. It's something that we want to do as a district as far as the consulting and what we're incurring. So that does stick out, and that's the reason why. If there's no other question, that concludes the financial report.
Ryan, have you seen anything, did you see anything concerning or that you want to discuss with respect to the transactions that were listed for the month of June?
To the disbursements?
Yeah,
No, I didn't have any concern with disbursements.
all right. Does anyone have, has everyone had a chance to review the disbursements and, does anyone have any questions? Okay, then I have a motion to approve the transactions listed on the treasurer's report provided at this meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the transaction presented.
Do I have a second, please? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, I'm going to take this opportunity to again welcome Chief Nutt, who is attending his first board meeting as chief. I know you've been participating by Zoom in a couple of previous ones, but welcome. We are so excited to have you here. And has it felt a little like drinking out of the fire hose that first week? No pun intended.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, well, welcome, and we're here and we're available to you. We're at your disposal if you need to reach out to any of us.
I think the overall sentiment is I'm excited to be here.
Good,
Perfect.
very good. All right, so turning now to item 7D. Division Chief Lane Cameron, chart overview for the discussion of the Wildfire Resiliency Code Cooperative Agreement.
Okay, the goal tonight is to get cooperative agreements in place with both the town of Estes Park and Loudoun County. I apologize that the one in the board packet is the one that was already approved at the last meeting for the town of Estes Park. We just need a signature on that to take it to the town and put their signature on it. They would need our signature first.
Is that me that needs to sign it?
So,
Is that me that needs to sign it?
yes,
Yes.
and we can do that after the meeting.
Okay, so you don't need us to do anything right now.
As long as we do it tonight.
Don't let me leave before I sign it. Okay. Someone will tackle me if I try.
I have been working with Ashley on a draft for the Lemon County agreement, which is very similar. There was a couple of things taken out of the original draft agreement. As it came from Lemon County, and then when it went back to Lemon County, they put it back in. So we do need to get that one, and I don't know if Ashley is still on, but if she wants to talk to the difference at all. And again, this is just the final step to get that resiliency code in place. One thing I wanted to bring up to the board, maybe in the future, especially like with this town of Estes Park agreement. To put it in the language of the motion, that the board president can sign it after. It's been approved, because we had to wait a whole nother month to get a signature. I was told we had to come back to the board. And it's already been approved by us and the town. So if that's possible.
Didn't it contain the signature line for me to sign when we approved it? I think, didn't it have my name?
We had to get the town approval before we signed it because they hadn't seen it yet.
Okay,
And since they made no changes to it,
I see what you're saying. Okay,
since they didn't revise it. If it was in the motion that the president of the board could sign it, then we could have already executed that one.
so for the town of Estes Park one, I think it sounds like you do need a motion to allow me to sign the agreement at this point. At least relative to the town of Estes Park cooperative agreement, and then on the one for Lambert County, you need us to approve the agreement as well as authorize me to sign it, correct? Okay. All right, has everybody had an opportunity, let's take them one at a time then, has everyone had an opportunity to review the, I'm sorry, I'm losing my place here. The cooperative agreement with the town of Estes Park. Yeah, we've already reviewed it. We just need, okay, can someone make a motion for me to sign the cooperative agreement?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried. All right.
Signed that already?
I'll sign it. Someone is not going to let me leave until I sign this thing. All right, and so then I'm gonna ask if all of you have had a chance to take a look at the intergovernmental agreement between Marion County and us.
Do you have Lemon counties in your board book just to make?
Yes, we do. I'm looking right at it.
Okay, thank you.
I reviewed it. Has everybody had a chance to review it? Anybody have any questions about it?
Did you say you're gonna have to make some changes to it?
There were some revisions added back in. We by Laramie County, so I went to Laramie County. Again, came back with a couple of changes. Ashley has some questions on it. I don't see it as a big issue with the agreement, but I'd like her to try to explain if she's still on.
Are those changes they made in this draft that we are looking at? And what are the areas where those changes were made?
If you give me a minute, I will pull up her email. Sorry about this.
Miranda, do you have Ashley's? She's on. Do you have her cell phone number? Can you text her and ask her to get back on? If you don't, I can give.
I don't have it.
I don't have it either.
I've got it.
Can you?
Can you
want
text her?
back on?
Yeah, ask her to jump back on. While John's looking for the changes that. And this is the OEM Community Mitigation Grant.
There we go.
So we talked about this grant program at the last meeting, did we not? And we
Yes.
discussed approving the amount and all of that. I just want to understand what the changes are and whether we need to be concerned about them.
We're still on the cooperative agreement project.
Yeah.
Grant program.
Yeah. Sorry, I was moving.
Page 3, I'll read her comment to you. The county must include language says that this is subject to county commissioner approval pursuant to CRS 32-1-1002. That part of the statute states that fire districts can adopt and enforce fire code as the board deems necessary. That no such code shall apply with any municipality or the unincorporated portion of any county unless the governing body of the municipality or county, as the case may be, adopts a resolution stating that the code or specific portions thereof shall be applicable within the fire protection district's boundaries. This IGA and associated resolution that the county will need to approve does just that, and so I don't think we need to say that such things are subject to approval because they're already going to have done.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I think this needs to come back to us at the next meeting because I just don't have any, there's nothing here to approve.
My apologies for not getting the board book. It came late.
Okay.
We're under a deadline of the 31st of this month to get it approved.
31st, that would be 3 days from now.
Yep.
But there's no draft in here.
I didn't get it. Oh, wait, try it.
How long have you guys been working on this?
For a while.
Wow. Yeah, 3 days is a little bit short for a while project.
Do you have something you put up on the screen we can look at as we go and you can,
It's in the board book now. I think.
No, it's not.
It's in the electronic board book.
So go to the
I put it into.
today.
It's not the one that came to us by email. So what I've got for the county is the OEM. Okay,
You came Friday.
okay.
Did you
That's
put
why
it,
I was asking you questions about the OEM agreement because.
where
that's
did
what I
you,
have.
where did you put it at in the,
Should be
Drive.
board book under that agenda item number 10
10, you mean
yeah.
7D?
with Lamar County.
We're talking about E, I thought.
Well, no, we haven't gotten to the OEM. That's what I thought too, and then that's what confused me. So actually, what we were talking about is an agreement that isn't in the board book.
Okay.
That is something we need to approve within the next 3 days. So none of us is, and that our lawyer has a concern about. So there's a series of concerns here about this. So I don't even put it to vote till I can see it up on the screen and we can talk about it and understand what we're looking at. And I'd like our lawyer to be on the phone if we can get her. We're able to get her.
I texted her.
this? It's popping up, just to make sure, John, is this the? This?
Correct.
Okay.
Sign it says and Lamar County. Yep, that's the, and then if you scroll down, it shows her comments that I read.
Keep going.
Otherwise, it's the same. If you click on that comment, so you can.
It's the same as it's stuff, but we don't have it. So if we need to look through it from the beginning.
You want to start at the beginning then and
Yep.
scroll through? So. Yeah.
Hey, I need you to jump back on the board meeting if you can, please. We're looking at a code, an intergovernmental agreement or cooperative agreement with Larimer County that was not in our board book and that you have questions about, and I can't possibly put this to a vote until I get you on here and understand what we need to do and how to approve it. Thanks, Becky. She's getting back on.
So just for clarification, what was in the board book? The only difference, John, is the comment that Ashley made that you read off, was that?
This cooperative agreement isn't in there, so we have one that is between EVFPD and the town of Estes Park. So that's what I'm looking at in the board book that I printed out. The one with Larimer County's not in there, so he's asking for approval of 2 separate ones. At least on the one that I printed out, and I printed it out. The only thing I didn't print out was the audit.
The town of Estes Park was already approved.
Yeah, but that's what I
Just waiting
have.
signature.
So I'm looking at the cooperative agreement, parties are the Estes Valley Fire Protection District and the town of Estes Park, and what I printed out. And then I don't have one for the,
You don't have this one with the
It's on
Larimer.
the screen.
no, I do not. It wasn't in the
Am I-
board book that was sent, it wasn't in the board book that was sent to in the email. Whether Friday, was it Friday? I think so.
Or Saturday, yeah.
And again, my apologies, I didn't realize until this morning that it was not in there. Originally, this draft that we went off was from Larimer County in the first place.
There's
So
Ashley.
when Ashley worked with Greg White on the town side, they made some modifications. Which changed it, so it's really going back to the draft that Larimer County provided us and we worked off.
None of which we've seen, at least the board. You have, but none of us have.
Ashley.
Or Ashley.
She's just jumped on.
So let's get Ashley on and she can tell us if there's any concerns here.
Ashley and the town attorney made the revisements and then the county revised it back. So our attorney had enough thought to revise it.
Well, that's the thing, she's got
Yeah.
comments here, and that's why I don't wanna put it to a vote until we understand what we got, what we're dealing with. I mean, I trust her judgment, but I also, she obviously has some suggestions and changes she wants to make, and I need to know what those are. So, if she's on, can we pull her up?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, we just can't see you.
So I can probably. Can you? Let me see if you can see me now. Yeah,
Yeah, well, we could for a second. Yep, there you are. What do you got,
Okay.
running?
Okay, so tell me where you guys are at in the discussion.
Okay, so what's been brought before us now is a cooperative agreement between the EVFPD and Larimer County, which none of the board members have seen at all. You have seen it, and then you have obviously made some comments that were provided to John concerning whatever the county sent back to us in terms of the draft of this agreement that we're looking at on our screen right now. But we need to understand if we can, and evidently we have to approve this contract in the next 3 days, but none of us has seen it. So we need to understand from you whether you find the agreement acceptable, if there are any changes that need to be made, and if so, what are they, so that we can approve it subject to those changes.
So, the county had made a few minor changes to our agreement. But there are two comments, one of which John we already resolved. The other comment, John and I were still discussing it, and I don't know if I had said, I think it needs to go back to the county for their consideration of this last comment.
Okay, so John, it needs to go back to the county for their consideration, this last comment. And then if we have to, we're just gonna have to do a phone meeting in the next 3 days to say it's okay, but I'm not gonna entertain.
If we don't get it.
I will go ahead and submit everything we have got approved to state, it's a state requirement to. Submit to them where we're at with adopting the wildfire resiliency code.
Okay, I mean, I get all that, but I'm not gonna approve a cooperative agreement that I haven't seen and that our lawyer has questions about. I'm not gonna submit it for a motion, okay? So if you can get it back to the county, work with Ashley to make sure that's done, get it in shape that the board can actually consider it. If you can do that in the next 3 days, which is the time frame you're telling me you need, get it done in, then I will, even if I have to call each board member individually and pay their vote, at least I can at least tell them.
I think one thing you can do, Sandy, or one thing you guys can consider is you guys can approve the agreement pending the resolution of this last comment. And this last comment is language it's a really simple language we had taken out and the county had put back in. I don't think we need the language, and I actually I'm fine talking to the county about that, but you guys can approve it pending resolution of that issue.
So subject to that language being removed, we can approve, then you're okay with approving the agreement? But what if the
Then I
county
would be
doesn't?
fine with it. Yeah.
Okay, so why don't we do that?
Then we won't sign. Yeah, then we won't sign unless we reach an agreement on that language, on that specific language. But you guys can conditionally approve it based on resolution of that language.
All right, can you bring that language up, please, John? I want to see which one I want to reference it for the motion.
Comment.
Well, even if our lawyer says it's fine and the only issue is this one, we're not gonna go against what she says in it. Not on a cooperative agreement.
Okay.
And it's all on the wildfire resilience. Okay, so I don't see it being, it's not like there's gonna be a whole bunch of stuff in
I
here that.
still would like to have read the full document prior to voting on it. I don't feel like we've had an opportunity to review it at all. Assuming it's pretty close to Estes Park, but I don't know that.
It's the same except for this.
Okay.
So so you're representing that the agreement is exactly the same except for this comment. Okay, so we've already approved the language in the, okay, so as long as that representation is acceptable, then we would approve it subject to this issue being resolved. Would that work? Okay. 5A, all right, so then I guess the motion that I'm going to entertain, can you go back up to the top of that agreement, please? I wanna see the title of it. All the way top front page, top of the front page, first page, there we go. I'll entertain a motion to approve, the cooperative agreement wildfire resiliency code administration enforcement between the Estes Valley Fire Protection District and Larimer County, subject to agreement between the county and the district being reached on section 5A. May I have that motion, please?
Make that motion that you stated.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried. All right, and next time, we need to see these things in advance.
Thank you for your flexibility, and I apologize for repeating it.
No problem. All right, so now let's turn to the other county agreement, which is what was causing me some degree of concern, just confusion about what the order of things were. What we were talking about actually in the last item. Okay, we're now on 7E, Larimer County Emergency Management OEM Grant Agreement, and I'll turn it over to Division Chief Lam Kammer to discuss this issue.
Okay, you should have an IGA in your board packet. It came from Larimer County. It was reviewed by Attorney Ashley, and she had no changes, no comments. So this IGA would approve the action you already took, allowing us to supplement the Larimer County OEM grant up to $36,000. And that's what the IGA will be.
You know what, John, I'm gonna interrupt you 1 minute. I'm so sorry to do this, but one thing we said we were gonna do with that last agreement is authorize me to sign that agreement, and we didn't do that. So I'm just gonna ask for a second motion that with respect to the cooperative agreement that we just approved, subject to the agreement being reached between the district and the county on paragraph 5A, that the board authorized me to sign that agreement once it is complete and that issue is resolved. Can I have that motion?
I'll make the
May I have a second, please?
second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, John, I'm sorry I interrupted, but please go ahead.
I appreciate you catching that. So really the IGA, if you want to go through it, we can do that. Again, Ashley did not have any changes to it. This has already been approved and it would be come out of 1A funds to help supplement.
And this is the grant that we approved, one of our previous board meetings, correct? With the 36, so with Logan, you present, yeah, we've gone through all of this. I looked at this agreement as well. I had no issues with it. Does anyone else, did everybody else have a chance to review the agreement that was in the board book, that was actually in the board book on the OEM stuff? And does anyone have any questions about it?
I think this is great that Logan was able to pair with the.
Logan, you did a
county and save it.
fantastic job on this.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic job on this. Okay, so I will entertain a motion then to approve the intergovernmental agreement between Larimer County and the Estes Valley Fire Protection District regarding the emergency management OEM grant.
Make that motion.
May I have a second, please? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The motion carried. Okay, lastly, and again with Division Chief Landcamera is the CWDG Thunder Mountain Mitigation Project Contractor Award agreement or draft agreement, I guess. This is something that we're going to be submitting to contractors. Is that correct? Is this something that a contractor is going to sign with us if we approve them as being the contractor going to do? Okay, go ahead, John.
I'll just go really quick through the report. So basically, this is a culmination of Sarah's work, putting an RFP out, looking for a contractor to do the remaining 180,000 acres of Thunder Mountain CWDG project. Really, I'm just gonna let her jump into her PowerPoint, explain her process, and we'll go from there.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you all. So yeah, I just wanted to give a brief overview again of the Thunder Mountain project, since this is Chief Nunn's first time attending. So Thunder Mountain project is part of our 2024 Community Wildfire Defense Grant that was awarded to Estes Valley Fire Protection District for treatment of 200 acres that was determined extreme fire risk in our community wildfire protection plan. We've already contracted Larimer County Sheriff's Office to treat the 20 acres that backs up to the park that they've been working on. But we're now looking for approval to hire a contractor for the remaining 180 acres for the treatment. So for this 180 acre treatment, it's going to consist of hand harvesting and mechanical methods. Unit 2 consists of 95 acres and Unit 3 is 85 acres. The treatment will be meeting our objectives that are lined out in both the CWPP as well as our grants by creating healthy forest conditions that are more resilient to fire, connecting the fuel treatments that the park has already been doing that will help protect the residents in that area and then create tactical firefighting opportunities for us. It will also protect the electrical substation of the East Portal, the town's water treatment plant and YMCA historical resources, and then as well as educate the community on the importance of these efforts and these projects. So this again was our timeline. So far, those are the check marks of what have already been completed. Right now, our next step is us notifying a contractor and accepting a contractor. We've already submitted, the RFP. We had a mandatory site visit, project questions from the site visit, and then received proposals. We had a certain criteria for our selection process. Those 4 criteria being the qualifications of the contractor, experience, budget and pricing, and then their timeline. So making sure that it meets the timeline of the grant. Here's an overview of the contractor list. So we sent out an RFP to 12 local contractors, 18 in-state, 1 out-of-state, totaling 31 contractors. Of the 31 contractors, 9 contractors RSVP'd to the site visit. Of the 9, 6 showed up. And then of the 6, 4 submitted bid proposals. So these, this breaks down all of the contractors that submitted a bid. And then their criteria and qualifications, experience, pricing, and timeline.
Well, there's someone up there who's like 2x of everybody else.
Yeah.
I can't see what the bottom price is.
Yeah, the bottom one, they never provided an actual price. They said that they gave kind of a budget like estimation, but they specifically said in their plan of operations that they cannot give one and that they would give one after they were awarded.
And so it looks like your choices are between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what.
What
2 seems to be quite an outlier.
Look into that. I'm not sure if that's new bidding.
What kind of guarantees do we have that that price will be good by the end of the project? That there won't be add-ons or changes?
So it would be a fixed price agreement right from the get-go.
So this is, and the draft agreement we have is pretty much setting that all out, in terms of what it requires and, yeah.
Kind of a quasi-construction project. I gotta tell you, I don't see many construction projects landing on the time number that they start with.
Yeah, no, they would have to,
Especially with the variances in the price between 2. That makes me hesitant to go with the cheapest of the ones, because
But there are two of them at the exact same price.
Price, yeah.
And
Yeah,
then there's that other item that they came out of left field with that one.
yeah, so, the 3,000 an acre is what is pretty standard, right now, especially for this type of treatment, the topography, the work, also.
Mhm.
And I can go over to, and the next, I'll go, kind of go back and forth, so. Both myself, Chief Landcamer, and Will Land from Essex Valley Watershed Coalition. We sat down and we reviewed everything, and we're leaning towards Pennington. I'll explain why, if we go back. So Pennington, they have done a lot of work, 3 projects in total, in Waltonia. Like Larimer Conservation District, and they've been highly, highly recommended by them. They were able to get the work done within the time frame. They did not go over budget, and they actually were willing to work on things that, you know, they needed corrections on, or the scope of work changed, you know, on LCDs, and this is Piddington. And so they highly recommended that, we use Cuttington. Altitude was the other one that I was, kind of torn between. However, I took into consideration both, you know, Piddington, he's more local, he's done work in our area. Waltonia is, you've seen Waltonia, it's extremely steep. They want to be doing with that in our area. Altitude, they did come highly recommended as well. However, the only thing they said was their timeline is usually longer than they state. And then 2, they do have larger equipment. So as far as people new to this mitigation work, a lot of times they see large equipment and they kind of put the brakes on projects in terms of landowners. And then 2, getting into tight spaces with that type of equipment.
How do you break down their experience? Cause I see that they've been in business for 38 years. Is that just the largest project they've done, the 33 to 103? Or that's not how many acres they've done in 38 years?
No. So that we just required that they provide 3 references of recent work that they have done, so, this is all like recent work that they've done. So this isn't over the course of the 38 years.
So your recommendation is that we should award the contract to Pennington?
So I don't see anything in this contract about change orders or anything, and I do see it's a fixed price. I do see that there's reference made to a payment schedule and structure set forth in Exhibit B. Is there any process by which change orders or variations to the price can be made? If they were to encounter certain kinds of circumstances, or is that just not going to be contemplated and it's absolutely fixed price, which is great, but I never seen one that's absolutely fixed price. So I just want to understand what the process is going to be if there is such a thing.
Yeah, so I believe I thought in there was wording, but I could be mistaken, but, as far as the fixed price amount, that is the fixed contractual price. Usually if there's anything that needs to be presented as needing more work to be done or higher cost, it needs to get approved by us.
Okay, that's what I was looking for. Maybe I just missed it. Can you remember what paragraph it's in?
I have it up if you want to look at it. There. Password.
So usually when they set up contracts like this, they ask the board for approval for them to approve extra work up to a percentage.
Mhm.
They don't have any of that. So it's just, I mean, we're approving you for this price. If there's extra work, you'd have to come back to us to approve it.
Unless you include something in.
Unless you include like, we're allowing like 10% overages for us to be.
Not.
we are retaining 10% too of all, invoices.
Yeah, but that's different from if there's, you know, if there's going to be an increase in the cost of, say, 10%, or let's say 2%, you don't necessarily have to come back to the board for that, but that ought to be a provision in the contract that, you know, it's a fixed price and, you know, but that, you know,
If it was presented to us in that manner, we could approve it now, then you would be approved to approve.
up to 10% or whatever.
2%,
2%.
whatever it is. That's pretty standard in contracts.
Yeah, I mean, it's the
I mean,
indemnification.
anything could happen. Fuel prices could go crazy between now and then. They come back and say, well, we just can't do it. I mean, it's not uncommon. So I just want to make sure that it's written in somewhere that we have a process for that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a section here on amendments, but those are contract amendments. It's not gonna be amendment to the price. It's not gonna be there's no change order sort of process there.
Well, if we did go with the Pennington, that's their timeline they gave you was August, so next month.
Yeah,
They could start, so the fuel thing, I mean, they know fuel's high. Sure.
so maybe you wanna add a couple of these things to it to, address overages, to address change orders.
I mean, I think we could go ahead and do this, I just wanted her to know
Yeah,
that if somebody comes up.
You're just
we
gonna have to
to
bring it
come
to
back
us.
Forward, it's nothing, maybe nothing happens.
But what does, okay, you just have to come out of the board if there's any change to the fixed price. It's just absolutely a fixed price contract. There's nothing in here about any kind of change. So that's fine if that's what you intended.
Yeah, I mean, I can put, if the board is fine putting that in there, I can put that, you know, wording in there. Otherwise, I'm fine with also presenting to the board.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go ahead and do it that way then. This is one of our first forays into this anyway, so I think that probably is good. And then as we gain a comfort level with interacting with this contractor, we might be able to include something like that as an amendment to the contract, which the agreement does provide for. So, any other questions about this?
So it's that 540 sit inside the budget of your 1A to complete that 200 acres.
Yeah, so again, the grant award amount was 555,000, and then we've got an in-kind cash match from the town, 175,000 plus 10,000 from Estes Valley Watershed Coalition, so that leaves us minus the 80,000 from Larimer County for their contract, leaves us 120.
And that provides the education aspect of it.
So yeah, there is going to be like, cold fire project that we're kind of gonna use as, mushroom inoculation into some of the slash piles, you know, mulch piles or wood chip piles. That the YMCA is, very keen on in terms of providing education on, how to utilize some of this, you know, slash management and how to help decompose it quicker, especially in Colorado. It's hard to decompose some of the material. So,
I just know on that first list, you'd said that part of it was educating the community about the necessity, and I didn't know.
Yeah.
Project itself, the education, or is there an education aspect?
there's an education aspect.
Right, but not in, but in terms of what we're addressing right now, we're just looking at the contract. draft
Yeah, I just
that
want to
she
get an
sent.
overall
Yeah.
idea of the.
Yeah.
Is there any
Full
cost
budget.
on the education, is what he's trying to ask.
Yeah.
Any? I think,
It is.
yeah.
I think it's-
We do finish each other's sentences now, all of us. Any other questions about this? Any questions about this draft contract?
So we need to get done.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
yeah.
since you have the draft, we're also asking kind of same thing for approval. If we send it to council and council approves it as well, if we can have.
Yeah, as long as the contract doesn't change in a material way, it can be signed by the contractor and by the district. Do you want authorization for me to sign it? Is that it? Okay. So, I will entertain a motion, first, and let's see how my little thing drafted it, just in my games. So, got it? Oh, okay, no, that's not what this is. This is, we're approving this contract, it's presently a draft contract, we're approving it as a final contract, okay. So, going back to this. This is the longest board book I think I've ever seen in my entire life. Okay, this is, I would entertain a motion to adopt the independent services contract between the Estes Valley Fire Protection District and the contractor chosen by Division Chief Landcamer's team, regarding the CWGG Thunder Mountain Mitigation, project. So, to add with me as board chair to be able to sign that agreement once it's negotiated and approved by our council.
And the one from that is the one.
Yeah, and, okay, I'm gonna restate, because and no changes made, so, the longest motion in the history of the world, as did go along with the longest board book in the history of the world. Okay, I'll have a motion to entertain, approving what we've reviewed as the draft contract in the board book, which is an independent services contract between the EVFPD and a contractor selected by, Division Chief Landcamer and his team regarding the Thunder Mountain project, CWDG Thunder Mountain project, so long as no changes of any no material changes are made to this agreement. And also that I will be allowed to sign this agreement once our attorney has approved have entered into the negotiations and completed the negotiations and approved the contract with no material changes. Yeah, that's it, I think.
I'll make that motion.
No. It's been moved and seconded, and Rebecca will go and try to translate what I just said. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. So, Rebecca, there's just a couple parts. Contracts approved, no material changes. Ashley has to approve it. They get to hire whoever they want. I signed.
Those were exactly my notes and I'll go back on the recording and get.
There were just a
exact
whole
words.
lot of words built around it. Okay. All right. All right, we are now going to turn to our reports, and Division Chief Landcamer, you're up again for the Community Risk Reduction Division report.
Go as fast as I can. Start off the wildfire risk reduction educator Logan completed 85 home assessments and 10 neighborhood assessments. And that's just a little over halfway through the year. We had a very successful Pinecone Pine Needle drop off, Estes Valley Watershed Coalition, and ELSA, which is Estes Land Stewardship Association. 2 roll-offs full of pine cones and pine needles, and 1 roll-off full of noxious weeds. We just participate as support for that. Next pine needle, pine cone drop off will be August 15th, again in conjunction with ELSA. 9 a.m. to noon, Stanley Park pickleball parking lot. Until they start paving, don't know when that is yet. So this is Logan's last week. His last day is now August 1st. We got him to extend the week. That's trying to publicly wish him well. He's got some fun things planned, and I want to thank him for their work. He's done.
Yeah, and I just want to say to you, Logan, yeah, you have been doing an absolutely stellar job for a very long time, and I've known about your work even before I even knew there were openings on the board, and somehow managed to be convinced to, because somebody in this room convinced me to put my name in to run for the board. But I've known about you for a long time. I've seen your work for a long time, including in my own community where I live, where you've come and talked to our homeowners association several times, and you will be very missed. You're just an amazing performer as a person who goes out and engages the community and works with the community, understands the community, teaches the community. You're an educator, you're a teacher. You have people skills that are pretty much unrivaled, and you're just really good at what you do. And I want to express on behalf of the board just how much appreciative we are of you, how grateful we are to you, and to wish you the very best as you move forward.
Very well. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well said.
All right, we'll move on. Captain Sutherland, again, working on plan review. Experience with Whitney, who's our third-party plan reviewer. There is a lot going on in this community right now. I'll just put it that way. When she gets back from vacation on Wednesday, she's gonna be busy. Also continue inspections as needed, mostly new construction, special events, it's that season. Reviewing and issuing permits for those special events, including food truck inspections. She's also training JL Morgan, who is our new inspector, on those, items. So she started her training process to get her up to speed so she can jump in and help assist with some of that. She's been shadowing Stacy and filling in on some inspections while Stacy's on vacation. Sarah's continuing to check on the work getting done for the 2025 Coast Swap Grant Project on Prospect Mountain. Curry Drive with Lambert County Conservation Corps. The crew has completed about 3 acres so far. They continue to remove junipers, which we love to see. It smells great up there, but a lot of hard work in that project. And again, you just heard about the CWDG Thunder Mountain project, so I'm not gonna say any more about that. It was in my report. Fannin Canyon crew, you heard about that as well. We've got an agreement with them. Just talked to Derek today, and they've got some other things they're working on that hopefully soon we'll see them up working on the Thunder Mountain project as well. Sarah's been shadowing Logan and continuing to do that. She's helping with home ignition zone assessments, while we have a transition period between employees. Cooperative agreements in my report, we already talked enough about that, sorry. Working on grant management for the 2022 furworm grant, and that's a grant again that's helping fund Logan's position. That'll continue, it doesn't matter who's in that position, that'll continue with the next. And I've asked staff that are jumping in to help them to track their time, so we can apply that to that grant as well. Hiring process is complete for Logan's replacement. Offer's been accepted by Ellis Thompson. She was here today, see Chief Nunn get sworn in, so she starts on August 17th. I'm really excited about her. I think she's gonna do great. So Logan's laid a great foundation. I think she's gonna take it, continue that great work that we got going on in the community. Very confident in her background and her skills and ability, so you'll get to meet her soon. Sarah and I continue to attend partner meetings when possible. Logan's off that book now, I think, pretty much. So there's a long list of partners in there. One of the biggest ones we are focusing on is the next CWDG grant, Lambert County. As that $9.8 million grant comes through the pipeline, we want to make sure we have some projects lined up to help utilize those funds in our district. Just another reminder, community, Lambert County is hosting a 50-year commemoration this Friday. Big Thompson flood was on July 31st, 1982. What's that? 76. Big Thompson flood. I'm thinking long way, sorry. I plan to attend. I think Interim Chief Jones is gonna attend. What's that?
What time is that?
2 to 4, and it's down in Loveland. They did ask for RSVPs to it. But anyway, there's several commemoration events going on. That's the one that Lambert County Office of Emergency Management is putting on and planning on. We did have failure of one of the AC units on the roof, so I'll be working on a cost to replace that. Probably for next year's budget. We'll probably look through this warm season budgeted for next year. That's all I got. Thank you.
Any questions for Division Chief Landover? Okay. Division Chief Kearney.
Good evening. For training, Fire Academy kicks off Thursday night. We have 11 students from between Estes, Big Elk, Meadows, Glen Haven, Jamestown, and Pinewood Springs. It's a little smaller class this year than we're used to, but it'll be a really good hands-on class for the 11 that signed up. So we're geared up for that, which is seems like it's starting early this year, but we're ready to go on that. Chris really been working a lot on getting instructors lined up and the schedule and all the tests, pre-read stuff that they have to do. So a lot of work on Fire Academy for training. Our auxiliaries did a big deep clean out at the training grounds for us to prep for Fire Academy. It's been a little while since we've been in the classroom, so they went in there and cleaned everything and it smelled fresh. So we appreciate the auxiliaries for that. Firefighter Wallace and Firefighter Brenner attended a art of reading smoke class in Arvada last week or the week before, which was a 4-hour class that talks about building construction, what different color smokes mean coming out of a building. It just takes you to that next level of knowledge when you see it's just not smoke coming out of buildings. So we appreciate them going and taking that class. This month we're working on structural firefighter skills for our Tuesday night trainings, forcible entry, ladders, search and rescue, ventilation, and hose operations are coming up in the next couple of weeks. So a lot going on with training, with firefighting kicking off. Operations, I have very few bullet points, but I feel like we're chasing our tails every day. Pump testing on all of our engines is starting August 7th. August 3rd and 4th, we're doing ladder testing, which needs to have to be done yearly, for NFPA. We are coordinating with the Estes Park Police Department on the National Night Out, which is August 4th. They're really trying to get some neighborhoods to put together like block parties, and we're gonna go hang out with the fire trucks and answer questions like kids touch the truck, essentially is that what it's about. This year, last I heard, they only had a couple block parties scheduled. One of them, the biggest one I believe, is going to be out at Good Samaritan. So it'd be cool to get out there and see the residents out there. We have a lot of maintenance stuff going on with our apparatus. Garrett's been struggling with getting the correct parts, so he takes something apart and parts aren't right, so we have to put it back together, so we use it and then order the correct parts. But we have several things that need to be fixed before the pump testing on August 7th. And then hopefully at the next board meeting, we'll have two, and we work with Chief Nunn on 2 IGAs for our mutual aid and auto aid response with Allen's Park and Pinewood Springs. Meeting with the Boulder County, they really wanted those IGAs in place to just make sure everything's the same. And so we're working with those guys to get those done. And I believe that it's important for bringing those back, and hopefully sometime in August. We square away our run cards that we've been working on. That's all I got. I think Captain Owner will be talking about all the other fun stuff.
Any questions for Division Chief? Thank you very much, Chief Carney. Right. Volunteer captain report. So Captain.
Congratulations on your.
Yes, congratulations on your captainship. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So in front of you guys, I did print out a graph as well as a chart, not a chart. Yep, that. Right. Sorry, not the way. The corresponding chart that goes with the graph that is also on the board. We told you back in May, we would try to correlate where our calls are and the increases that we've seen, right? Because some of those months have jumped a little bit. Please bear in mind that some of these were done back last year where we used inverse. Now we're doing years, which is a different reporting system, so they don't correlate exactly. A lot of it depends on how the officer responds it or how dispatch puts it in and how it gets to us. So for example, last year we might have an odor investigation, this year might fall into as an other category, which is the other like service calls, right? But overall, we're at 337 calls for last year, January through June, so including June. This year through June, we're at 429, so a 26% increase in the year. So on the trajectory, we'll get close to 1,000 calls most likely this year if we continue on the current trajectory. By maybe hopefully not break them, but that's just where we're at, where we're kind of heading. The biggest numbers that we saw the jump on, if you look at illegal burns, it's going from 6 to 46. I believe that's where we're seeing all the smoke investigation, illegal burns, people calling in the clouds, people calling in the columns. They don't know what it is. We run those. Most of the majority, if not all of those, are officer only calls. So it's not a full page to the district. It's the battalion chief that's running to say, yep, it's a propane fire at the KOA for the 4th time this week. So that's where we're seeing a lot of that influx. And I think that's where we saw a lot of that in May. Obviously May, we had the red flag days coming out, burn restrictions going in, people's heightened response, freaking out that they're seeing fire in vehicles. So I think I'm wanting to say my confidence is in the fact that that's where all those came from. Because if you look across the rest of the board, our MBAs are up a little bit. Structure fire, I did notice a jump from 9 to 24. Again, I believe a lot of that's in the reporting of how the new system corresponds it. For example, we had a call earlier this month. We were told lightning hit a house, actually hit a tree next to the house, but dispatches comes out as a non-confirmed structure fire, just because of the way the new system reports. So that number is gonna fluctuate a little bit. Looking at the medical calls, though, we're right on par. Pretty much everything else across the board is red, correlating to where we are last year. So, with that being said, we did have a couple significant calls over the last few weeks. Lightning strikes, we've had quite a few of those. One exploded a tree next to a house, a lot of shrapnel through the house, took out a window, most of the door. Really thankful nobody there was injured inside the house, but we helped do a little cleanup, help board up a little bit for some kind of customer service above beyond what we normally would do. We did have three wildland fires, two confirmed by lightning strikes. Can't commend our team more than just jumping in. I mean, those were alleviated really quickly, controlled, contained, and put out without spreading to a massive incident. So that I contribute to our response. So members are on top of it, like, there's no question that they're getting out the door right away. I believe that's all I really had for the significant calls. Last thing I wanted to mention, Captain Spear just finished up his engineering academies, over 60 hours of training, so it's a very big commitment. These guys, I've got Lieutenant Platts went through that. The following firefighters: firefighter Brewer, firefighter Rapola, firefighter Brenner, firefighter Wallace, and firefighter Goodrum. So they all went, including firefighter Barnhouse that went through the ladder corresponding ladder curriculum. But they all put in over 60 hours of going through wildlands, first due engines, tenders, a lot of driving up on Polo Hill, the Gregor Ranch with some of our other cooperating people in town we can go play with. A lot of time behind the wheel. So thank you, Captain Spear, for that. Without him heading it up, that's a really big asset to us. It doesn't mean anything if we can't put somebody in the left front seat to actually drive the rig. We can put people in the rig all day long, but if there's not a competent person in that driver's seat. So, just a lot of growth in that. The last thing I have, for follow-up auxiliary, they've done about 13 homes and installed or replaced over 75 new smoke alarms so far this year. This is all part of the American Red Cross grant, but cooperation, I guess. Where do you put it? Yeah, okay. Yeah, basically, American Red Cross gives it to us. We have to fill out a form, we install them. As long as we keep installing them, they'll keep providing. So auxiliary's been amazing on that, stepping up and taking a lot of the load off of us and going out to residences and installing. It's been awesome. That's all I got.
Thank you. Any questions for me?
I had a couple things, sorry.
Yes, go
I would like to introduce our new lieutenant, who is Trevor Eigel, sitting in the back. So he recently got promoted to lieutenant within the last month. So we welcome him to fill that role.
Welcome.
Talking about calls, and I'll talk about it a little bit in the mini briefing. I pulled the numbers this afternoon. We're at 124 calls this month, which is crazy. Looking back at the last couple of calls since 2021, August of last year, we had 119 calls. So if August is like that this year, I'm curious to see what happens. But 124 calls is like almost 5 calls a day that we're averaging, and we're having a full turnout for response. So it's been really good. We did have 4 wildland fires, and we'll talk more about that one. Do the mini briefing. Thank you.
Any questions? Oh, I don't know if you have a chief's report, but you are on the agenda and you're welcome to report on anything you'd like.
I could simply say that I don't have anything, but that's not gonna be me. I definitely wanna publicly, I know we had our transfer of command ceremony, but certainly thank Chief Jones for holding down the fort for everything. He's definitely given me a lot of information that he's gotten over the last 10 months, so appreciate it. And we've still got another few days to transfer, but I think by the fact he's not in uniform, I think he's really saying, all the things that these chiefs have been saying, it's just amazing work. They have been doing fantastic. I've witnessed it for the past 6 days. I'm sure that Chief Jones had a chief report for you. But this is your opportunity to tell me what you want in a chief's report. And it doesn't have to be answered right now, but I certainly want to hear from the board what you would like to hear. Because all these things that everybody has said really sum up what I've been seeing, and just fantastic show of support in the community. We were here on Sunday. This is something that this is something they haven't reported. We were here on Sunday doing truck checkoffs and had the bay doors open, and a 15-year-old girl got a fish hook stuck in her cheek from down here fishing. And of course, her and all of her friends are running around, and they run into the fire station. Hey, can you help us? And it was great to witness all the activity around helping her. As chief, I really stood back and I watched, and I went in the back room and got the suckers and the stickers, and just kind of waited for the emergency to be handled, and they pushed it out and they cut the barb off. So very simple procedure, but it was great to see all them taking action and not just simply calling in. And so it was that was great. But like I said, I will report certain things that I see over time. Metrics will be some things I report. This stuff is great. And the difference between NEFRS and NARIS is huge. And so I will leave a lot of all that stuff to them during this time, but I would like to hear from what you would like to hear from me on the chief's report. So, whether it comes down to financials or everything, my job is to understand everything they said. So I think I was in tune with almost everything they said.
I think, one of the things for me, probably some of the others as well, will be, there's some things that that these guys won't report on, like the election, for example, some of the things that you'll be uniquely suited to handle and that you'll be working directly with the board on, and with our consultant, Steve Weber, and our attorney. So those are the kinds of things, I think, the election, other issues where you're the principal person who's handling this, and those are gonna fall upon you, I think, really go to the board on. I think also I think the other board members, what you guys, if you have anything to suggest right now that we report on, that'd be great, but I think maybe also think about it between now and the next board meeting, and I will actually include an action item, not an action item, but just a discussion item on the agenda for you to kind of come back with your thoughts about some of the things you might like to hear from the chief. Does that sound good to you? I keep turning my back to you, I'm so sorry, but if I turn
Because I'm way over here.
you're over there, and then I turn my back on the whole world over here if I do that.
Yeah. It's a little.
But so things like the election, things like certain kinds of contract negotiations, obviously significant personnel issues that need to come to a board level discussion. Public relations and communication issues are going to be significant, I think, for the board to hear about. And anything that relates to sort of overall general strategy, mission, goal issues that you're the person who manages, and that we need to know about. So I too will think about just that was off the top of my head, but things that may be more detailed that we can talk about. Anyone else? Anybody have something comes to mind that you want to add? No. All right, so y'all think about this, and I'll put a little discussion item on the next agenda. And let's see, I think we are gonna now go to a mini briefing. We have wildland response, but I think you're the one doing the.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so this is just a mistake. Okay, it's probably a carryover. Are you doing wildland?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Lord doing it. Okay, never mind. So I'm sorry.
Says everything. Wildland.
Actually, yeah, because you did, I was thinking it was a carryover from last time you did. I don't know what's wrong with me, I'm tired. Okay. I have to speak in front of people thing. It's just enough for this.
Chief Jones and I talked about this a while back I think it was supposed to be on one of the mini briefings a couple months ago, and there was just a lot going on, so we held off until now. So, this mini briefing is really just, our SOG on what we do on wildland fire response. I think there's some, even though we respond to fires that are not on private land, we'll go into the national forest or go help the national park, just to give an idea of what we do. We respond to wildland fires. So the purpose of this is our SOG is consistent wildland response. What tools we use and gear that we use on these calls. Our initial response is Battalion 71, and then we
Trying to get it to go away.
and then we roll out with engine 713, which is our type 3 engine, 4-wheel drive. It can get pretty much anywhere we need it to go. For a bigger apparatus, it's pretty impressive where we take that thing. If we can get a tender in there, tender goes third or second out of the station, and then we also take 726, which is a type 6 engine, which is littler pump, littler truck, with less water on it.
It's not working.
No.
Okay.
Our first arriving unit does a size up in the 360. I'll say that with any wildland call that we go on, we have Larimer County Emergency Services usually on the radio talking to us really fast when we're getting there or going there. They want to spool up resources as fast as they can to come and help us, which we want them guys to come. I think we've had a Phantom Canyon coming on at least 2 of the 4 wildland fires that we've had this year. And that's anywhere from an 8 to a 20-person hand crew that's going to be coming from Larimer County to help us. And the goal is to catch the fire before it gets big. So we do a scene size up. They're really keen on the size up because if it's in the trees already or in the canopy, they Larimer County can get air resources coming for us before they can get here. So which all helps in goal putting the fire out. Our battalion or whoever our first arriving officer is will establish incident command. They'll name the fire fairly quick. It's important to name it. Fort Collins Dispatch likes to know a name, although we've named 2 of the 4 of ours, and the national parks changed the name on us both times. So, we try to get GPS coordinates or close to the GPS coordinates and ownership of where the fire's at. We evaluate risks, and then obviously working with Larimer County Emergency Services. They get notified as soon as we get called to any brush fire, wildland fire. Life safety is always our top priority, so we establish lookouts, communications, escape routes, and safety zones whenever we're responding to a wildland fire. We identify threats or threatened lives, coordinate additional resources and evacuations. I think that point right there is really big. On all the fires we've had, as this department is pulling up resources to come and help. They're setting up a law. I see, and this is something I haven't seen up here in the years past, unless it's it's reported as a bigger incident. Even on the lightning strikes, the police department's pulling up resources. They're setting up their staging and talking about evacuations and where they're sending people on these little fires. So it's a lot of essentially practice for them, and we haven't had to use it, which we're thankful for. But they escalate and de-escalate just as fast as we do really on any of these calls. We coordinate road closures through law, and I think the evacuation part is we can call for evacuations, but we really want to concentrate on fighting the fire and let law, whether that's Estes PD or Larimer County, when they're coming up, deal with the evacuation stuff. Obviously, we want to try to stabilize the incident as fast as we can. We set up staging and divisions, give a leader's intent on what the plan is. Some of the keywords that we use are anchor, flank, and pinch. So that's trying to anchor off of whatever it is. It could be a rock, it could be a road. We're going to flank around the fire and pinch it off. And then obviously direct or indirect attack. Consider air resources. That when do you start considering air resources or calling in air resources? It's really good to have somebody that has worked with the air resources a lot to help with that. And we have Lerma County that comes. We've also had Rocky Mountain National Park Engine 3.1 or Mod 3.1 come on most of our fires and help us. Which it's always good to work with those guys and they're a huge resource for us. Here's a good picture of, I think I took this one, this might have been down in Glen Haven with the Camera Peak fire, but just shows a picture of good fire mitigation around the house where the fire burned right up to it and didn't burn the house down, so good work. So we could set up structure protection, buoy watch outs. We're all trained on doing structured triage, whether we're gonna prep and hold or we're gonna drive by and say, sorry, we can't get into that house with the fire front coming. So all things that we do within our response. Communications for our wildland response. We obviously use our 700, which is our dispatch center here. And then we also use Fort Collins Dispatch, which is that's who we would call in the size up, the name of the fire and all that. And then they start working on resources if they need, or if we need them. On scene, we use different channels than our attack channels. We'll use a V-Fire 21 or V-Fire 22 through 26 is a VHF channel that every fire resource that's coming to help has those channels. Not everybody has our attack channels. So we try to set up whatever V-Fire channel that our crews are working on, and command stays on a V-Fire channel as well. And we also stay on our 800 radios to talk back and forth to dispatch if we need. So whoever's incident command on these has to carry 2 radios pretty much, or sit in the truck and manage 2 radios. Fort Collins Interagency Dispatch is the dispatch center that we notify for all of our fires, or they're notified of our fires and we communicate through them if we have more resources coming. Key takeaways, obviously life safety and escape routes and communications are our first key priorities. A strong size up is really important to help predict where the fire's going, predict what resources we're gonna need. That size up also, we can evaluate the weather with a spot weather and then that helps get more resources coming faster for us. Clear communications on leaders' intent. Then obviously we want to protect life, stabilize the incident, serve properly. Any questions?
That's very good. Any questions for question? Thank you so much. That was. All right, we have no unfinished or old business. Does any board member have any new business that they would like to state? That we put on the agenda for the next meeting? Not hearing any, we'll move to announcements. Our next regularly scheduled meeting is Monday, August 24th at 4:30 p.m. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Sandy, hold on.
Wait.
Can I make one announcement? It's next Tuesday is our family dinner and our official department photo. So I hope you all can.
Tuesday at what time?
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock here for the family dinner and official department photo, which I take it you would like us to be in our.
Yes, if you would like to come and wear your polos.
I think the picture will be before 6. We'll get it narrowed down and then that's me.
Yeah, maybe send out an email to everybody just to when it.
Marcia
When you want
said she'd be here at 6.
Oh. 6 o'clock.
All right.
If Marcy here at 6, I'll be ready at 6.
But yes, I would like you to be here a little before 6.
All right, so maybe just send an email out to everybody exactly what you want them to do, and we can all tell you if we can make it, which I think I can, but I'm not, I think it's just. Better, oh yeah, that, motion to adjourn, please.
I'll second.
Oh, you just said it, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carried. We're adjourned.